Hello, hi, and welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to keep them rolling. I'm going to keep them coming, trying to get back into my groove. In this video, we discuss the women who stayed for too long in their marriages or even just general relationships, right? Now, may this one be a cautionary tale to you ladies. If you or someone you know, may this be the push or redirection that you need. If you are in this situation or something even similar, it doesn't have to be this specifically. May this be the push that you need to really reconsider the situation that you are in. Do not, for the love of God, do not stay for 10, 20 years like these ladies did. If we understand wisdom to be the ability to learn from other people's mistakes, I will ask you to exercise wisdom in this one. We have heard this story, this situation, this tale for so long. For as long as men have been sleeping with women, we have seen women that just have stayed for too long. They are being abused, they are being harmed, they are being ill-treated. I see, those are even the obvious reasons to leave. There are situations that you are staying in where you realize you're not even being appreciated, where you feel like your spirit is slowly dying, where you feel like you are not being the best or the true version of yourself, and you continue to stay, right? And you stay for years and years and years, and you become a shadow of yourself, a shell of yourself, simply because you are scared to walk away, simply because there is a belief that you hold in your mind that that's exactly where you need to be. It is said, and let's not let it happen in this day and age. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. This is what makes me come to the realization that I question marriage, right? Most of my married friends, or even women that have been married, women that have been widowed, most women that have been married will tell you that if something happened to my marriage, I will not do it again. I am not doing it again. It makes you question, like, is this really good for anyone? Are these people happy? Are these wholesome lives? And we don't mean perfect by any means. We're not talking about fairy tales. No, we're just talking about, is it serving you? Any situation that you are in needs to serve you as an individual. Is it working for your good? Are you fulfilled? Do you know what I mean? Honestly, for me, those are the basics. And as someone who actually, funny enough, to some extent, I'm a believer in marriage. I watched my parents, and they by no means did they have a perfect way marriage, but I've seen examples of really good marriages, and I still question it. I still question it. I do believe in marriage that can be used as to form an alliance. I believe marriage can be used as a tool for upward mobility as a woman. I absolutely believe that. As it doesn't have to always be based on romance. As long as you are not being harmed, as long as you are not being abused mentally or physically, it can be used as a tool for to get the things that you want, right? Anyway, I don't want to take too long with this intro. Let's just jump straight into the videos. Please, in the comments below, let's get the conversation going. Let me know what your thoughts are on marriage. Let me know what you have seen, what your experiences are, whether you plan to do it, whether you plan not to do it, if you are, and what your experiences are, if you have been, and what your experiences were. All right, let's jump into the videos. But again, please do share your comments and get that discussion going. Thank you so much for being here.
A lot of older women ain't gonna tell you that they got their happy ending because they had to wait for their husbands to finish cheating. Now, I'm not saying all women who got married young, because I'm sure there's plenty of relationships that didn't involve cheating, but a lot of older women ain't gonna tell you that they had to wait a long time before their men got tired of cheating, and some of their men never got tired of cheating. And particularly, it be the women who shame other women for not having a man. Usually the women who shame other women for not having a man usually had a man that dragged them. Been dragging them since they was like 21, 22. That's why that's the only thing that they could hold on to, is that they have a man. No matter what the quality of man, no matter what the man put her through, they have to hold on that they have a man because they know that the man was dragging them the whole time. And the older I get, the more I realize that. Because women in happy homes really don't be worried about what single women are doing. Women in happy homes and happy in motherhood really don't be questioning other women why they don't have kids. And I'm definitely not even saying you can't bounce back from cheating, but Some people forgot to include that in the story.
So I'm 55, and I just left my husband of 28 years, and I should have left him 20 years ago. And I'm here to say that the minute you think it's time to leave, leave. Don't let it go 20 years.
The greatest lie men have convinced women of is that you need a good reason to break up with someone. So many women want to leave, but they can't verbalize why. They can't explain why. Because it's just continued disrespect, the man not valuing you, weaponized incompetence. There's not been language for a lot of the things that we are starting to discuss. The woman just knows she's tired, she's frustrated, she's worn down, she's not appreciated. And this attitude doesn't just come from nowhere. Remember, you used to only be able to divorce for cause. And men made sure that cause was extreme. Abuse. You had to be able to prove he was cheating. And even then, there had to be a pattern. So that's where that whole attitude comes from. When men say, well, I didn't cheat on you, I'm not beating you, they feel like they've done something great. And that you need a reason to leave them rather than a reason to stay with them. They don't feel like they have to contribute anything or provide value for you to actually want to stay in the relationship. Men see relationships as a basic entitlement, a right that they deserve by virtue of existing. And that's why they get angry when they say, well, my grandfather or my father didn't have to be sensitive or share chores or listen to you. They just had to go to work and they got a wife. Yes, that was the system that was in place. Women were disempowered, prevented legally from living on their own. And after that, socially, they were prevented. Because if this woman is 55 and has been married for 28 years, she was born in 1970 and she got married in 92. In her lifetime, she's always had the freedom to live on her own. Since she's been an adult, she's always had the right to have her own bank account, sign her own leases, have a credit card. But socially, that same stigma has been enforced for years. Well, if you don't have a really good reason to leave him, if he's not abusing you, if he's not hurting the children, if he's not cheating on you left, right, and center, why would you leave? The idea that marriage should not be doing you active harm in your day-to-day life has just now passed into the social conscious. But it's so important to realize women have been going through this same thing for decades silently, and now we get to talk about it. You're not crazy if you think I'm miserable living in this situation. And even though everyone else says it's normal, that this is just life, this is just marriage, I don't want to live this way anymore. You don't have to live this way. You don't have to continue to swallow down all of your pain because you are going to end up leaving one day anyway. So don't waste another minute. And if nobody else has told you, let me tell you, wanting to leave is reason enough. You're not going to regret leaving. Your feelings are valid. Maybe he didn't do anything you can describe. You don't know how to put your feelings into words. But if you're miserable, leave. Run. You deserve more. Like and follow for more.
I got married in 1989 and I got divorced in 2015. And the whole time I was married, I worked so hard at trying to maintain a clean house, clean kids, and cooking all the time. And worked. So in all those equations and all those things that I had to do, I never took the time to really take care of myself. And I realized that what happened was the more that I did, my threshold for discomfort became higher, meaning I could put up with a lot. And when that happens and you leave that situation, you have to learn how to become comfortable. And you have to lower that threshold again to a decent level for yourself, a true decent level. There's so many holidays and barbecues that there's pictures of everybody except me because I'd be cooking or I'd be cleaning. There's so many movies that I never fully watched simply because I would use the movies as a time to get up and clean because everybody was taken care of and they were comfortable, so I could go ahead and clean the house. And it's only lately that I've seen, in 2025, I've had a decade of being divorced, but obviously a longer time of being married, 26 years. Wow, that's a lot of years. That I'm finally, this last 3 years, training myself to be comfortable and learning about comfort and I think there's people out there that can agree with me. You're so used to being busy and so used to going without. As you grow in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, it's normal life. That is what life is. So now you have to flip the script and learn how to really live and learn that it's okay if I don't feel like working today. Like, for instance, today I'm off and I'm truly struggling with not having to do a couple of chores that I have outstanding. And it's just me. I don't know who I'm worried about, who am I concerned with, but it's always that feeling. And the feeling has subsided. I would say that I'm 90% there when it comes to understanding and believing that I deserve comfort. But there's that nagging 10% still. There's that little bit of discomfort that I should be busy and doing something. So I just wanted to share that because I know that there's other women out there. And just for those younger women out there, have a lazy day. If there's some days where you don't want to do the laundry, don't do it. Have a day where you have stuff all over the floor. It's okay. Take care of yourself, because it really does make you a better person physically, mentally, for your kids. You're not even filling up your own cup. You're just pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring of yourself and depleting yourself. So take time for you and don't feel guilty about it. And women my age, in our 50s, I'm 58, 40s, who have our emptiness, that have gone through.
As a woman that stayed, I can't convince you to leave because no one could convince me back in the day. You'll one day just snap out of it and grow tired of trying with him. You'll leave on your own when you've had enough. You'll go back a few times because your hope for you two hasn't died yet, but after some time, you'll leave for good. Everyone's threshold is different. I wasn't ashamed of staying either because I needed to see that relationship through. I needed those lessons that came from staying too long and tolerating too much. So who am I to tell another woman to leave if she isn't ready and hasn't learned the lessons meant for her yet? As a woman that stayed, what I will say is that his patterns won't change. And if he does decide to change for you, it won't last because he did it for you and not himself, meaning that's not who he truly is at the core. By the time he does decide to change, you're not going to even want him anymore because the damage is already done. I will also say that life can be so much better without him. That sadness you feel after it ends, finally, won't last forever. But continuing to stay, that sadness is everlasting and a roller coaster ride. You don't need him like you think you do, and there's better out there, a better life, a better and happier you, and eventually a better man too. That is a post written by me that is on my Instagram page. I've been that girl too. You can follow me there, and I'll also be publishing my writings in another book soon. But I wrote that because I seen that trend of posts going around of saying, as a woman that stayed, I'm telling you to leave right now. And I get that. That's nothing against that. But in my full understanding of what I went through, no one could tell me to leave. I had to get to that on my own. And it took time. And I don't regret any of it because of the lessons after it. And I said all that to say that if you're stuck in it and you're going back and forth and you're trying your hardest to leave, understand that after all of that, I need you to take the time to take heed to all the lessons from it and to grow from that so you don't do that shit again.
You'll never regret leaving, but you will regret staying. You will regret that you didn't leave the first time he disrespected you. You will regret that you wasted years of your life waiting for him to change. You will not change a person. A person will only change for themselves if they want to. You will not be that person that's like, oh, I'm here for them over everybody else, and I showed him that he should change for me. That's not going to happen. And if you let him disrespect you and you let him do those things to you, you are giving him the key and saying, that's fine, I'll stay. That's fine, I'll stay. You are letting him know that you respect him, the person that is disrespecting you, more than you respect yourself. Therefore, he's going to disrespect you. Why would he respect somebody who doesn't respect themselves? Even if he knows that you love him, he doesn't love you. He loves the way you love him, and he loves the convenience of you. Sorry, it's a hard pill to swallow. I've been there. I've done it too many times. Just leave. Literally, you just being like, oh, well, will it change? Will he do it again? He will absolutely 1000% do it again. I promise you.
Okay, let me jump in here. Do you remember how in the intro I mentioned how sometimes in a relationship it's not even that you're being abused in any way. It's just something is missing. Something is just not sitting right. I'll give you an example. Do we all know Eat, Pray, Love? Do we all know Eat, Pray, Love? The story is written by the author Elizabeth Gilbert, and she depicts how she left her marriage because it was just not feeding her. Yes, you can make arguments about her husband was just like, bruh. Do you know what I mean? We also have somebody like Rachel Kaggle. Oh my goodness, I hope I'm not saying her name wrong. But she also is a young woman who speaks about how she left a marriage with a beautiful man, a faithful man, a kind man, simply because she knew deep down in her spirit that's not where she was supposed to be. And people were like, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with your life, but she knew deep down, right? We also have someone, if you are on this side of TikTok, you are living the dream. Dr. Cecilia Regina, if I'm not mistaken. That's another woman whose content you must consume if these are the questions that you have in your mind regarding marriage, right? But yeah, these are situations that show you that it's not always tragic. It's not always sad. It's not always fireworks and, brimstone. Sometimes it's just a knowing deep inside you that this is not where I need to be. I'm one of those girls. I wasn't married, but that's what happened with me and the father of my child. I just knew. I was like, nah, this is not where I need to be. But anyway, I don't want to jump into that. I also know I did have a little bit of this actually towards the end of the relationship. I would be at work, hate my job, hate being at work. And when it is time to go home, I would hate going. I was just like, And I know that to this day, there are women that absolutely hate going home. You have stayed too long, if that's you. Please let these women's stories be a cautionary tale for you. Let it be the push that you need to make the move. I mean, you are in a way harming yourself in the day and age where mental health is such a focus. Something like this could cost you, is costing you your mental health. Prioritize yourself. Let's take a look at a few more videos.
I want to know from women over 35 if cohabitating with men is really worth it.
No. No. No.
And a study needs to be done on the fact that married women are telling you not to get married. The ones that are widowed are telling you they won't do it again. The ones that are living with men are telling you don't do it. Right? And I think that is exactly what fools many women, is that they think the grass is greener on the other side. They say, oh, well, you tell me not to get married, or you told me not to move in with my boyfriend, but you're living with your guy. Can't be so bad if you're still there, right? That's what it is. That's what attracts women who still want it, beyond the fact that many of them are just delusional. There's that fact that they think that you are gatekeeping. They think if men were so terrible, you would not be with one. You hear people say all the time, don't listen to Beyonce. She'll tell you to the left, but she couldn't leave her husband when he cheated on her. And that's facts. You're right. Not many women are leading by example. But I'll tell you this. It was my prerogative. I told myself I would leave anyone and anything before I ruin my trust with myself. Right? I'm not going to be the hypocrite that gets online and tell women, love yourself more, build this relationship with yourself, find it in you to not tolerate certain things, do not make struggle a part of your lifestyle, and then be behind closed doors going through struggle love. No, dating has never been my thing. But anyone who ever came across me knew. If you're doing things to me, if we're in a relationship that feels funny, that makes me feel like I am a fraud to my audience, you have to go. That's my number one sign, right? But not every woman is going to live that life, is all I'm saying. Just like you don't take advice from the miserable married women to stay in that toxic relationship, stop thinking that she has what you want if she tells you to leave. Sometimes it's from a place of her wishing she would have done better. It's okay to learn from other people's mistakes. But I know that those of us who need to learn from pain are still not going to listen, and that's okay. I'm only here for those that will. Okay?
Hello. Today is April 4th, my 14th wedding anniversary. It's about nearly 10:30 at night, and my husband hasn't spoken to me all day. All day. He's come home, hasn't said hello to me, hasn't said a word to me. He's ignored me. On our 14th wedding anniversary. And he's doing it because he came into some money. I didn't ask for any of it, except to not have to spend what little I have. And because I asked about it, this man has ignored me all day. All day. All day. It's our 14th wedding anniversary. I've been here at home all day. I called him even earlier today to let him know about the painters arriving. And even then, his response to me was, "What?" This is my life. This is my life. This is what it's always been between us
for 14 years. Last year was a tumultuous year for us, and all I've asked since then is marriage counseling, and to this day, a year later, nothing. Which tells me I should leave. Clearly. This is my life.
Now that I'm divorced, I realize how free my life is and how free it wasn't when I was married, and how I felt like in many ways I was in a cage in my mind, a cage in just life. Like I wasn't living. You ever feel like you're just not living? You're just existing, going through the motions, like you're on autopilot? That's what it felt like. But one thing that's key that it took me some time to realize is that my marriage, it was very surface level, and it looked good on paper. You know, we had the house, the 2 kids, you know, we were an attractive couple, like all of that. But for substance, that wasn't really there. And when I think about as I'm dating now, there's just certain things that are really important that wasn't important when I chose to get married at the age of 23. And one thing in particular is that there has to be connection, there has to be intimacy, there has to be kindness and a genuine friendship. And those are some of the things that's important to me now versus when I got married at 23. My brain hadn't developed and I didn't know. All I knew is I wanted a happy family. And the work that I would have to do to get there, it actually wasn't in the marriage that I was going to find happiness. It was within myself. But I didn't know that. It would take therapy for me to figure that out. So I just wanted to share that this freedom, it looks really good. And I'm very happy. And I said this on TikTok Live yesterday, or maybe today. But I feel aligned, and it's almost like as I'm breathing, everything in my life is coming to me. Like I'm breathing and everything is working out for me. And that's a beautiful feeling. And I'm in flow. And if you want to know more about how I got here, what would I offer, what would I share, just let me know in the comments. Say, I'm ready.
When I was married, I was so lonely. That was the loneliest time in my life. I can't do it, y'all. Let me tell you what he do. He go to work in the morning. Then when he leave work, he go to the bar. He went to the bar, y'all, every day. Even on Saturdays, he went to the bar. Look at here, y'all. When he come back from the bar, he take a shower, be in the bathroom 2 hours. Then he go to bed, y'all. This was every day, every day. No days was he saying, come on, what we gonna do today, what we gonna do tonight, we gonna watch movies, we gonna eat popcorn, what we doing? None of that. Can I have a hug? None of that, y'all. None of that, you know. I was just so lonely. Look, sometimes, you know, I would sit in the dining room, y'all, and it'd be daytime when I'd be in the dining room. I'd be sitting in the dining room all day, y'all, it'd be dark. And somebody would come in the dining room and they say, what you doing sitting in the dark? I'd say to them, I didn't even notice it was dark. I would do that, y'all, just sitting in the dining room trying to figure this thing out, y'all. You know, when I didn't have to work or I didn't have the kids. But you know what? Look, every day, it was just nothing. Every day, that was his routine. And I was never included in the routine. No days. Look at him. Saturday, I get up, you know, I had to go shopping and everything. I had to buy food, you know, for the house, and I had to buy food for the you know, for the daycare, you know, for the kids. And then, you know, when I come back from shopping, never went shopping with me. No, never. When I come back, I'd be taking the bags and stuff out the car, you know, putting them on the porch so I can bring them in the house. So he would come to the door. He'd say, you bought all this food? I was like, yeah. So he might help me take the food from the porch, y'all, and put it in the kitchen, and he out the door. Never ever say, well, you know, you need me to help you with go shopping. How much you need for food? Never, no time. Always by myself, y'all, trying to take care of my family and my kids. This was every day. We ain't never. Then once in a while, you know, them little trips and stuff that we had. We go on them little trips, but I was lonely. And let me tell y'all now, I don't do lonely. Lonely is not my friend. I can't stand him. I'm not lonely no more, y'all. I haven't been lonely since I wasn't married no more. Even with the first husband. Too much loneliness. You just by yourself, you know, and you know, that was a whole nother whatever mess. But y'all, I couldn't do it because I'm too lonely. With those marriages, I was too lonely. I'll talk to y'all later on the next video.
Yeah. We don't have to take shit off them men like they did. They had to stay with them. And when you see them up in the paper where they celebrate the 50th anniversary, me and my sister were teenagers, we said, that woman doesn't put up with a whole lot of shit. And that old man sitting there grinning like he getting a credit for it, like he been a good husband. As he done did that woman every kind of way. He got away with it, but she better not do nothing.
So it was more, they just really just
They just dealt with it.
Yeah, they go out with their chest stuck out. Like they done all this and that. They done beat the woman, stayed out all night. And back in them days, they had a girlfriend. Time they get paid, they wouldn't go home. They were going buying young women like buying groceries.
Right, and it wasn't really no gossip. It was a secret.
Yeah.
Y'all put stuff. They put stuff under the rug.
Yeah,
didn't
they sure did. A lot of stuff I didn't tell. I still ain't told.
Right.
And ain't gonna tell.
Yep.
I'm ashamed to tell it. Then a lot of people say, well, you stayed with him. They just don't know. They wasn't in my shoes.
Yeah.
You don't get 5 kids, go out the door with a string of 5 kids, stair step, and go run and get no help. You ain't getting no help. Everybody else is trying to survive too. And the ones ain't trying to survive. Some of them don't want to see you do good nowhere. Some of them glad to see you get old man treat you any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And they be the very one to be after. Yeah. I got this man, he got a big house and a Cadillac and a good job. When I told my sister that, she said, yeah, try to take him. You'll find out every bit of it belongs to the wife and kids. Cause you ain't getting nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But they bait them women up, make them think they gonna get all that. And women used to be stupid. Oh, I got me a man. He married up. He got a new car and a new house. What you crazy if I brag for you? Ain't getting none of it. And open them old billfold and put 100 on a whole stack of ones or something. Oh, you got a billfold packed full of money. You ain't getting none of that either. They just bait you up, make you run after. And they should run after men thinking they get some money. More players know how to do. This one man said they go out there in them old zoot suits, more broke down hats, and them old Stetson shiny shoes, and put a bunch of bills under a big bill or two. Mm-hmm. What you want, I buy anything you want. Them little gals be running them, they don't get nothing. They
Right.
get the short end of the stick.
And so
And they be going around laughing about it.
So really, them marriages, what they call the grandparents, lasted because they also the parents of them was against they leaving and divorcing.
And they were religious. They didn't believe in sin to get a divorce. Death do you part. That's what they meant.
Now imagine that. It is your anniversary and this man is ignoring you. And you are still there. You are still staying. Ignoring someone, especially a spouse, a romantic partner, is a form of abuse. It is a form of abuse. And in no way during that video does she speak about just, I've had enough and I'm done. I'm moving on. I'm sorry, for me, that breaks my heart. There's a lady who speaks about how over the years, her tolerance levels for BS with her family steadily increased. So she could take more abuse, more BS it increased every year over time, right? And only later did she realize how much they have taken from her, which is why they say you treat people you teach people how to treat you. The more you give and you're not setting boundaries and you're not speaking up for yourself, you are not communicating that I am generous. You are communicating that you can take advantage of me, because that's how most people interpret it. You may have the best intentions in your heart. It doesn't mean that's how people are going to interpret it. In most cases, people take advantage of that. They keep taking and taking and taking. Now, this is what scares me. That woman raised boys. Imagine what those men are going to be like in relationships. Imagine what their expectations of women and their wives are in this day and age. Not only their sons. If she has daughters, imagine the types of wives they will become. They will become carpets that anybody can just walk over, because that's the example that she said. You are causing more damage, more harm than good by staying. Remove yourself from that situation. This is what is just a mind-blowing for me, is the fact that throughout the generations, we are all telling the same stories. We are all talking about how difficult it is, how you shouldn't stay, basically, rather. Don't stay. All older are saying that to us as the younger. The younger people that are experiencing this are also saying, we've realized that staying really doesn't help anything. It doesn't solve. Now, mind you, I know that leaving is not always the solution, right? Sometimes it means staying, but setting clear boundaries, staying and speaking up for yourself and standing up for yourself. I will one day tell the story of how a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, did that in her marriage. And she had to decide. I said to her, you can't live like this forever. So it's either you leave this man or you change. And she found a way to change things. And it was uncomfortable for the husband, obviously. But eventually she did. And she got the life that she wants. You know what? I'm being spicy. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope I even struggle to smile through this one. I really do hope, as a young woman, please, I hope this is your wake-up call. I hope this is the message that you've been waiting for, that get up. It's not going to get better. Move on. Choose you. Prioritize you. You deserve that. You really do. Thank you so much for being here. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm building a community, and I would absolutely love it if you are part of it. Thank you. See you on the next one.